Hey Pisces, I hope you're all doing amazing. My name is Sarah and this is my channel, Serendipity Astrology. I'm doing a general tarot card reading for April 2022. We are moving into April, guys. It is a very intense time, especially for you with Jupiter and Neptune being in your first house. You also have a lot going on in your 12th house, your 11th house, your second house, and your third house with, Uranus and the North Node being in Taurus. I feel like there's some challenges, but there's also some surprises happening for you. There's what you're doing with yourself, your social activities, your interests. Like maybe you're becoming friends with your neighbors. Like maybe there's some surprises there. A lot of you might be like educating yourself on something new. You're gonna move towards a new horizon. It'll have to do with your money, your work, your income, your daily routines, your values, your material possessions, your habits, your job, and your work ethic. Like, I feel like a lot of you have changed your professions. You're doing something different. But I also feel like, you have a lot going on with your, like, the way you see yourself, your appearance, like maybe more of you are working out, like you're working on your body, you're working on like your self-image. I also feel like that's something too. With Jupiter being in your first house, I say this to everyone with Jupiter transiting their first house, you just kind of want to be mindful of like your weight. That can happen. Like any Jupiter transit I've had through my first house, like I've put on a little bit of weight during that. But for some of you, that might be a good thing. Like, especially if you've been underweight, like, and that's been a challenge for you. Like, you could be putting on muscle weight and like bulk. That could be a thing too. It could be something that you're working towards. All right, let's get into your reading, shall we? I'm going to be doing 3 rows, past, present, future, 2 cards each. I'm going to be clarifying with multiple oracle decks, and I'm going to be clarifying with more Rider-Waite cards, okay? 2 of Swords. Man, a lot of people have been getting the 2 of Swords in their reading. Wow. And I shuffled these before this and, like, just now. So, yeah, the 2 of Swords has been popping up. The Star. Death card. Let's move these up. Sorry, I am always tweaking my cards. I'm always moving them around. The 3 of Swords. The 10 of Wands. And the 9 of Swords. All right, so this first row, which represents the past, we have the 2 of Swords followed by the Star. With this 2 of Swords, it's telling me that a lot of you had to go down a path that you didn't necessarily want to, but at least it was somewhere to go, and it was a beginning. It was something new, it was something different, and it was a path that you hadn't been down. But I feel like with a lot of you, it led to like more opportunities, which was what you were actually hoping for, what you were actually wishing for. There were things that you truly wanted, so you kind of had to bite the bullet and go down a path that you really weren't interested in, but it was opening you up to different things, I feel like. I'm going to pull you a Spirit Animal Oracle card for this row. Swan Spirit, time for a deep dive. Yeah, again, I feel like you guys had to do some deep, like, kind of soul searching. Really kind of go within, and you had to do, like, go places that you may not have been before. It may not have been someplace that was super comfortable for you, but there was a place that you needed to go and kind of step outside of your comfort zone to get to where you wanted to be, okay? Like, get to where you feel like you should be. It's like something was calling you there. Like something was telling you that this was the path, even though like your rational mind was like, whoa, what? This sounds kind of crappy. But you were like, nope, this is the way it's got to be. This is the way I have to go. I'm going to pull you a Gateway of Light Activation Oracle card. The third eye activation, brow chakra, inner vision, clear seeing. Yeah, there was a lot of clarity you got from just kind of going within more. Like having to, I feel like a lot of you had to spend a lot of time by yourself too. Like you were spending more time by yourself, just kind of like sitting with your own energy, really trying to understand it, really trying to get to a place where you could see through the fog that might have been there, might have been present. Like there was a little bit of fog that has been around like your path, your life, where you're going, maybe the relationships that you've had. But I feel like you got more clarity just by spending that time inward and spending that time by yourself. I'll pull you 2 more cards for this row from the Rider-Waite. Yeah, the sun. You know, vision of clarity. The sun shining down on you. This feels more like a playful energy too. You know, it opened you more up to like being more playful about things because you weren't taking things so seriously anymore. You weren't waiting for what you thought you needed to show up anymore, and you could just kind of like relax and like let things be. Also the 7 of Pentacles. I feel like a lot of you were working towards something new, but you also had something in the background that you had been feeding, you had been nurturing, but you just weren't seeing any results from it. So you kind of had to let that energy go and just let that kind of be and move on to something else. Just because it felt like it was kind of depressing at the same time. And you wanted to be in a place of happiness where things were happening that were creating things in your life and like creating sunlight, creating joy. This middle row, which represents the present, we have the Death card, followed by the 3 of Swords. You guys have had to face a lot of heartache for a very long time. A very, very, very long time. I don't feel like that someone's breaking your heart right now. I don't feel like this is this energy. I feel like this is you recapping all the heartbreak that you've had. And maybe like just going over it to see what you can learn from it, what you can take from it, and what can help you grow. You know, what experiences help shape you. You know, maybe they don't have to be something that was debilitating, and they can be something that you learn from instead. Because then you're coming from a place of creation instead of a place of something holding you down and holding you back and holding a grudge. Because you don't need to hold a grudge. What's the point? You know, it's about moving on from this energy. The things that happen to us are the things that we allow. You know, so this energy, I feel like, is being transmuted to something better, something different, something else. I also have the Death card in this row. I think the way you saw yourself, the way you saw relationships is dead, done, dying, and over with. You know, the way you presented yourself in relationships, just the way you presented yourself in every situation. Maybe you're at a place where you don't feel like everything is just kind of is what it is anymore. And it's really something that you can grow with, and that's something that you can find opportunities within now, instead of feeling like it's like definitive and the end of the world. It doesn't have to be the end of the world anymore. Because you're rising up from the ashes of this, and the sun is rising in that background, you know? And like you're getting to a playful place. I can feel the playfulness like coming out. You also have the Squirrel Spirit, believe in yourself. A lot of this has to do with your self-belief. How you're willing to show up to yourself, for yourself. It, like always, in the background. Every second of every day, like how you show up for yourself emotionally, how you show up for yourself physically, how you show up for yourself mentally. once you're willing to show up for yourself in all those ways, a person will show you the same level of trust and value and support that you give yourself. Because you have to provide it for you first, instead of like martyrdom and expecting to give, and think that that's the way to get things. You have to be willing to give to yourself. You have to be willing to fill that cup for you, or, you know, your cup's always going to be empty. But again, I feel like you're moving through that, like this mental energy that you've kind of been stuck in for a really long time. I'm pulling you a Moonology Oracle card. You have the Void of Course Moon. Nothing will come of this situation. Yeah, nothing comes of, you know, staring at heartbreak. Nothing comes at feeling like everything's falling apart for you and nothing's happening for you. And again, with this Void of Course Moon card, I do feel like you're getting a handle on your emotions and understanding that the self-deprecating thoughts and behaviors and unwillingness to care for yourself made nothing come of these situations. It's just like it was always in a holding pattern, and then it would just feel like heartbreak. But again, it doesn't have to be like that, because you're the one who's creating things for your life. You're the catalyst here. I'm going to pull 2 Rider-Waite cards. The Page of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles. Wow. Aquarius had this. I feel like some of you have a prominent Aquarius in your life. Like someone that's like really close to you. Maybe like a best friend. Something like that. And like I feel like you're feeling the stability that they're feeling. And maybe you might end up going into business with this person. Like doing something different with your life. Going down some new path that has to do with your financial stability. Huh. That's interesting. The final row, which represents the possible future, we have the 10 of Wands followed by the 9 of Swords. This 10 of Wands, I really feel like you've understood the burdens that you've carried, and you've carried them on your own, but they're burdens that you put on yourself. And once you finally got to the top of this hill, you're willing to let these go. That might be a difficult energy for you guys. It might be hard to let go of the way you've been doing and seeing things most of your life. But it means that you don't have to feel this way anymore. Like you're sitting up, like you're worrying about everything, like you feel like you have no control over everything. These cards to me talk about letting go. Letting go of like the way you thought and the way you feel you had to effort. And like try and get things to move forward in your life. Try and get things to push forward in your life. Like you've had enough of that energy. You're done with this. You don't want to overthink things. You don't want to carry all the weight of everything. You want an equal and balanced partnership across the board. Business, you know, romantic. You know, maybe it's a roommate situation. It's with your family. This has to do with all relationships for you guys. That's what I feel like. You have the Wasp spirit. Sometimes life stings. Yeah, this is sting of letting go of these feelings. And sometimes life does sting. But it only stings for so long if you're willing to see it from a different angle. If you're willing to see it from a different place. Because that's what makes it sting, is your perspective of it. Because one person can feel one way about something, and someone can feel completely different about it and see it as like a joyous occasion. It's all about our point of view. And if your point of view changes, your whole life changes. So what's on the other side? Ooh. The crown chakra upgrade. Divine connection, holy experiences, miraculous energy. Yeah, once you can let go of this energy of efforting and like worrying about everything working out, that's when miraculous things can come through for you. That's when you get to experience the joys that you've been blocking yourself from for so long. It's been a long journey for you guys. You're the end of the zodiac. You have been through every sign. You've had to feel all of it. But like there's a certain level of letting go that you gotta put out there. Like you gotta feel that on the inside. So that can radiate like without. It can radiate outside of you and create new things, new paths, new life, new experiences. Also the Eight of Swords. Again, this reminds me so much of Aquarius's energy. You're not stuck. This is a deceptive energy. You also have the Six of Cups. So that has to do with nostalgia. You might have like a little bit of a wobble coming up. I feel like it's going to be during a retrograde, like time of retrograde, where you're kind of looking back, especially Mercury retrograde. That's going to be coming up, you know. So I feel like that's going to be traveling back into your house, making you rethink where you like your processes, your thought process, how you think, how you feel. Like your planet is the moon. That's the planet of, you know, your needs. Like how you feel. That's your deep feelings. That's your intuition. Yeah. I feel like you guys are going to be looking back a little bit. You're kind of going to be going over where you might have deceived yourself. And where you might have seen things as rosy and like seen things as, you know, this was one of the greatest places I had been, but it really actually wasn't, because it was all you giving and nobody else. It was you giving and other people taking. So that doesn't feel like a very harmonious, you know, union to me. And that can go to many relationships, like your work, your family, your romantic relationships, like I said. All right, Pisces, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing April. I know things can look difficult, but this is to help you grow, and that's what the key here is growth. It's all about growth, and I feel like you guys are doing a great job. Just keep up the good work, okay? I'll see you later. Bye.